Welcome back to my channel Celebuzz. Please share and subscribe and press the bell icon for new updates. James Coburn really couldn't stand him more than anyone else. James Coburn was born James Harrison Coburn III on August 31st, 1928 in Laurel, Nebraska. Coburn grew up when times were really hard during the Great Depression, which taught him to be tough and able to change when he needed to. His family later moved to Compton, California, where he finished high school. After working for the U.S. Army in the 1950s, where he made movies in an Army film group in Germany, Coburn learned acting at Los Angeles City College and got even better at it under a famous acting teacher named Stella Adler in New York. All these different experiences helped make him the amazing and interesting actor he would become. Coburn first became really popular in the 1960s, a time when Hollywood was changing a lot. His big break came in 1960 with The Magnificent Seven, a cowboy movie where he played the guy who was really good with knives. Even though he didn't talk much, Coburn stole every scene with his cool personality and smooth moves, quickly earning a spot among the movie's famous group of actors. This movie started his career playing tough, quiet guys who didn't say much but could fight really well. His good looks mixed with a tall athletic body and a sly, knowing smile made him perfect for bad guy roles that mixed old cowboy movies with the cooler, edgier movies of the new Hollywood. During the 1960s and 1970s, Coburn became known as one of Hollywood's coolest stars, hected in a bunch of movies people still remember, like The Great Escape in 1963, where he played an Australian prisoner with a group of soldier friends, planning a daring escape from a German prison camp. His character stayed calm and made funny jokes, which were classic Coburn traits, and the movie became really important in war movies. He later played Derek Flint in the stylish spy comedy Our Man Flint in 1966 and its sequel, In Like Flint in 1967, which made fun of the James Bond movies and showed Coburn was great at mixing action with light, funny jokes. These movies showed how good he was at different things, as he easily mixed charm, humor, and smooth action hero coolness. As the 1970s went on, Coburn took on harder and more challenging roles. In Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid in 1973, directed by Sam Peckinpah, Coburn played the older lawman Pat Garrett with a serious, sad intensity that showed the end of the Old West myths. The movie, with Bob Dylan's sad music, is thought of as a touching story about the end of an old time, and Coburn's acting was the main reason it felt so emotional. His work with top directors like Peckinpah, Blake Edwards, and John Sturges made Hymone of the serious dramatic actors, and his work was always praised for being deep and real. Even though he was successful, Coburn faced big personal and work problems. In the late 1970s and most of the 1980s, he got really sick with rheumatoid arthritis, a painful disease that caused him constant pain and made it hard for him to move. For years, the sickness kept him away from the kinds of physical roles that had once made his career famous. But even during this hard time, Coburn kept working in voice acting and television, and he never stopped loving acting. His decision to keep going through illness showed how strong his character was. Things got better in the 1990s when Coburn found help for his condition through different kinds of medicine, including natural pills and whole-body treatments. With his health much better, he came back to movies with new energy. This amazing comeback reached its peak in what many think was the best performance of his career, his acting in Affliction in 1997, directed by Paul Schrader. Playing the mean, drunk father of a troubled small-town sheriff played by Nick Nolte, Coburn gave a powerful, intense performance that won him the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. Getting the Oscar at 70 years old, Coburn brought his usual coolness and thankfulness to the stage, thanking the people who stayed with him and celebrating a long-awaited moment of recognition. Coburn's later years were filled with more acting, voice work, including important work on cartoon movies like Disney's Monsters, Inc., and a well-deserved reputation as a respected Hollywood veteran. He stayed a beloved person among other actors and fans, known for his humor, wisdom, and kindness. When he wasn't working, he loved martial arts and was a close friend of Bruce Lee, who taught him Jeet Kune Do. This training not only made him better at physical fighting scenes, but showed Coburn's deep thinking and smart curiosity. James Coburn was married twice during his life, and both marriages were important chapters in his personal story. His first marriage was to Beverly Kelly, a relationship that started in 1959. At that time, Coburn was becoming more famous as a Hollywood actor, with his tough charm and deep, strong voice starting to get him good roles in cowboy movies and action films. Beverly, who wasn't part of the Hollywood world in the same way as her husband, helped Coburn through his early years in the entertainment business. Their marriage lasted 2 full decades, and they had 2 children, a son named James H. Coburn Ivy, who would later become a television director, and a daughter. During their time together, the couple went through the good times and bad times of life in the spotlight, dealing with Coburn's growing fame in movies like The Magnificent Seven and The Great Escape, as well as the personal and work stress that came with Hollywood success. Even though they shared experiences and had a long marriage, their relationship finally ended and the couple got divorced in 1979 after 20 years together. After his divorce, Coburn stayed single for several years. He focused on his career and his health, which was badly hurt by a painful condition, rheumatoid arthritis, that made it hard for him to move and caused him a lot of pain during the 1980s. Even with these problems, he made a great return to acting in the 1990s, ending with an Academy Award win for Best Supporting Actor in 1999 for his role in Affliction. In the early 1990s, Coburn met actress Paula Murad, who would later become his second wife. Paula was a former television actress and a wellness supporter, known for her charm and grace. The couple got married on October 22, 1993, in a romantic ceremony in Versailles, France, a choice that showed Coburn's love of European culture and his appreciation for elegance and beauty. Their marriage was a time of new energy for Coburn, both personally and professionally. Paula was widely said to have played a positive role in Coburn's life during his later years. She introduced him to different therapies that reportedly helped ease the pain of his arthritis and make his quality of life better. Together, James and Paula, Coburn shared not only a deep love for each other, but also a commitment to helping others. They started the James and Paula Coburn Foundation, a charity organization created to help different causes, including health and wellness programs, arts education, and promoting whole-body approaches to healing, an interest that showed both of their personal journeys. The foundation became a lasting reminder of their shared values, and Paula continued its work after Coburn died. James and Paula stayed devoted to each other until Coburn died in 2002. Their marriage, though shorter than his first, was marked by respect for each other, emotional support, and a shared passion for helping others. Paula was by his side during his final years, giving love and friendship as he dealt with ongoing health problems. The lasting impact of their relationship, both on a personal level and through their charity work, remains an important part of James Coburn's legacy. James Coburn was the perfect example of cool in Hollywood, a quiet silver-haired person with a sarcastic grin, a deep row voice, and a bunch of on-screen charm that made him a main part of action films, spaghetti westerns, and 1960s and 70s movies. Behind the scenes, however, Coburn was known for his straightforward personality and strong opinions about other actors. He could get along with almost anyone from Steve McQueen to Charles Bronson, but there was one man whom Coburn could not stand. One person whose very name seemed to make the usually chill actor sneer, Cary Grant. On the surface, it seemed like an unlikely fight. Grant, with his sophisticated charm, polished British accent, and timeless appeal, had long been the gold standard of classic Hollywood elegance. He was everything the movie studios loved, well-dressed, witty, and endlessly good-looking. But to Coburn, Grant represented everything he hated about old Hollywood. Its fake behavior, its artificial nature, and its strict rules of leading man perfection. Where Grant was silk, Coburn was leather. Where Grant was champagne, Coburn was whiskey, straight from the bottle. Their paths crossed sometimes at industry parties, film events, and even through mutual friends. But every time Coburn would walk away muttering, his jaw clenched. "That guy," he once told a friend, "is the reason I never wore a tux unless I had to." The hate was strong. To Coburn, Grant was not just a different kind of actor. He was a leftover from a Hollywood that Coburn believed needed to die for something more honest and real to rise. The tension between them allegedly reached a breaking point in the early 1970s at a Hollywood charity party. Coburn, then at his best, walked into the ballroom wearing a wrinkled suit with his signature, "I don't care" swagger. Grant, always perfect, stood near the entrance, sipping a martini and exchanging fake kisses with aging socialites. When their eyes met, the coldness could be felt across the room. According to one witness, Grant offered a polite nod, and Coburn responded with a dismissive smirk. Later, when asked about it in a rare, honest interview, Coburn said, "He was the kind of guy who never got his hands dirty. I never trusted people like that." Some say the anger had roots deeper than simple style differences. Rumors went around that both men had tried for the same role in a major film in the late 1960s, possibly Charade. And while Grant had finally gotten it, Coburn had felt cheated, believing his raw-edged energy would have given the film a more modern soul. Others think that a shared romantic interest may have caused the fight. An unnamed starlet who had allegedly dated both men and found herself caught in the middle of their ego-driven standoff. Whatever started it, Coburn's dislike never went away. Even as Grant aged into an older statesman of Hollywood, beloved and praised, Coburn remained unmoved. People worshipped him, he once said in a rare off-camera moment. But me, I could never forget how fake it all seemed. That wasn't acting, that was posing. Ironically, the two men represented two eras of Hollywood that would forever be connected. Grant, the smooth master of the Golden Age, and Coburn, the rebel of the new Hollywood movement. And perhaps that was the real root of Coburn's hatred. Not personal jealousy, but symbolic rebellion. In Cary Grant, Coburn saw the example of a system he wanted to break free from, a mirror of all Therols he would never play, and never want to. Grant was the tuxedoed idol of a past era. Coburn was the fist punching through the glass. In the end, the feud, one-sided or not, became a quiet footnote in Hollywood stories. Grant died in 1986 and Coburn in 2002. They never made up, but to those who knew Coburn well, his opinion never softened. If anything, it got harder with time. He was the only man I truly couldn't stand, Coburn admitted late in life. He stood for everything I wasn't and everything I never wanted to be. Even though he battled the painful effects of severe rheumatoid arthritis for many years, James Coburn stayed remarkably active and determined to live life on his own terms. Diagnosed in the late 1970s, his condition became progressively worse over time, leaving him with constant pain and joint problems that affected his ability to move and limited his ability to work during parts of his career. At one point, Coburn was in such terrible pain that he could barely walk, and acting roles became few and far between. Yancey described the agony as feeling like his bones were being ground together. For over 2 decades, he lived with the torture of the disease, relying on different treatments and a strong mental resolve to cope with the physical limitations. His determination eventually led him to explore unusual healing methods including holistic therapies, magnetic treatments, and finally the use of MSM, methylsulfonylmethane, which he credited with significantly reducing his symptoms and allowing him to return to acting in the 1990s with a renewed sense of energy. Lesser known yet fascinating part of Coburn's life was his dedication to martial arts, a discipline he began studying years before his health began to decline. He was not just a casual fan. Coburn was deeply passionate about Eastern philosophy, physical conditioning, and the spiritual parts of martial arts practice. This interested him to form a close friendship with Bruce Lee, the legendary martial artist and actor who revolutionized the genre. The two men bonded over their shared love for martial arts, as well as their philosophical discussions about life, self-discipline, and the nature of combat. Coburn trained under Lee's guidance and the pair spent countless hours together practicing techniques, meditating, and discussing the intersection of mind and body. Coburn greatly admired Lee's intellect, discipline, and charisma, and in turn, Lee respected Coburn's humility and openness to learning. Their friendship extended beyond martial arts training. They shared a genuine emotional connection and a mutual respect that went beyond their careers in Hollywood. When Bruce Lee died suddenly and tragically on July 20th, 1973 at the age of 32, Coburn was devastated. He had lost not only a mentor and training partner, but a close friend. To honor Lee's memory, Coburn served as one of the pallbearers at his funeral on July 25th, 1973, a role that symbolized the deep bond between them. Alongside other notable figures, including Steve McQueen and Dan Inosanto, Coburn helped carry Lee's casket during the solemn ceremony, paying tribute to a man who had made an indelible mark on his life. It was a moment of profound grief, but also of deep respect and gratitude for a friendship that had shaped Coburn's worldview and left an enduring impact in his spirit. Nearly 3 decades later, on November 18, 2002, James Coburn himself passed away at the age of 74, headed of a heart attack at his home in Beverly Hills, California. According to his wife, actress, and former television host Paula Coburn-Neymar, the moment of his passing was intimate and peaceful. The couple had been enjoying a quiet evening together, listening to music in their home when Coburn suddenly collapsed in her arms. Paula later recalled that they were in the middle of a loving embrace when he suffered the fatal attack, and that he died instantly, surrounded by the warmth and serenity of their shared space. Despite immediate efforts to revive him, he was rushed to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead. Coburn's death marked the end of an extraordinary life, a career that spanned over 4 decades, and included iconic roles in films like The Magnificent Seven, Our Man Flint, and Affliction, for which he won an Academy Award. He was remembered, not only for his rugged charm and distinctive rough voice, but also for his resilience, philosophical depth, and enduring sense of curiosity. Tragically, Paula Coburn would follow her husband in death less than 2 years later. She died from cancer on July 30, 2004, at the young age of 48. Her death was another blow to those who knew and admired the couple who had been married since 1993 and shared a deeply loving relationship. In the years following James Coburn's passing, Paula had become a quiet guardian of his legacy, speaking occasionally about his struggles with illness, his spiritual outlook, and his unwavering passion for life. The loss of both Coburns in such close succession was mourned by fans and friends alike, closing the final chapter on a love story marked by strength, creativity, and mutual devotion.